wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm gonna tell you all the scariest dream I've ever had. It is by far the craziest nightmare I've ever had. And before we begin, yes, the game I'm playing is One Piece Unlimited World Red. If you're into One Piece, this is one of those games that you just gotta pick up. It is so good. And of course, this video in particular does not show all of the features in the game. I'm just only using this because I have been playing it a lot lately, and I need something in the background while I'm telling this epic story. So, full disclosure, I've never been to Hawaii before. Never went on some school field trip there. Never went with my family to Hawaii for vacation, although all of my family have been to Hawaii except for me, which you might think that's a bad thing. That's kind of like, oh shit, well, why didn't they take me to Hawaii? But honestly, I never wanted to go to Hawaii in my life. It's partially because the idea of flying over the Pacific Ocean scares me, which I realize is a somewhat irrational phobia. You are, statistically speaking, more likely to get into a car accident than you are to crash a plane into the Pacific Ocean, but still, I'm not taking my chances, and more importantly, I just don't see the value of my upper class family taking me with them on a very expensive vacation, which I'm probably not going to enjoy. And although, yes, the United States is all stolen land, I don't want to go to a fucking island that has been completely colonized and repurposed as a getaway for settlers. I just don't like that. I'm just stating that there are reasons why I never went, other than the times that my parents and family have offered me to go to Hawaii with them. But anyway, I'm only mentioning all of this because my dream takes place in Hawaii, or at least it kinda does. Also, before I officially begin telling the story, I had this dream around 10 years ago, give or take. I keep forgetting that it's 2024, more like 13 years ago or something like that. Early 2010s was when I had this dream. See, it starts with me being on a plane, and I'm reading this brochure, and as I'm reading the brochure, there are pictures of luau girls, coconut milk, sunny beaches, all of the very unfortunate stereotypes that you would attribute to Hawaii, right? Because that's what the depiction is. After flying over the Pacific Ocean, the plane lands, and I gotta tell you right now that what I saw in my dream version of Hawaii was nothing like I've ever been told in my life as to what Hawaii is. Stereotypes aside, clearly when you think of Hawaii, the first thing that you think about are sunny beaches and very beautiful tropical vegetation. Obviously. However, that is not what I saw. Think of an oil rig, right? Where it's on stilts in the ocean, and the oil rig in particular is anchored to the bottom of the ocean. Now imagine that, but that's Hawaii. You have skyscrapers, you have businesses, you have clearly no beaches because the whole platform is elevated as literally an island state of the US, I suppose. I just want to pause real quick and say before I continue, a lot of what I'm going to be describing is very dystopian. I want to recommend the game that's on Steam called Neofeud. It was actually made by a native Hawaiian trans anarcho-socialist. Their name is Silver Spooks, and Silver Spook owns Silver Spook Games, and honestly, Silver Spook deserves all of your money, so go buy the game. It is always on sale, and it honestly tells a story of living in Hawaii under the capitalist system from a native Hawaiian's perspective, so what you're listening to right now from me is just a dream from somebody who's never been to Hawaii before. Anyway, I'm gonna continue the story. At the airport, I get on what is a tram almost. Not really a bus, but more like a monorail tram in a way. I have my seat, and the tram takes off, and I look outside of the window, and I immediately realize that these are not windows. The windows, where they're supposed to be, they're actually TV screens that are shaped like windows. And I could tell because if you look really close into the screen, you can kind of see like the plasma and just like what it looks like outside. It's not those stilts or platforms, but rather the luscious green sunny beaches that you would imagine Hawaii to be like. So the windows were very clearly playing tricks on me. And as I looked around even further, like just in my surroundings on the monorail tram, I began to notice a lot of very authoritarian propaganda, but it's from like people who are no longer alive. Like I see posters promoting Augusto Pinochet, Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini, Pol Pot, like all these people. And I'm just like, what the absolute shit am I looking at, y'all? And all of it wasn't even specifically promoting ideologies other than just like showing pictures. It was mainly just saying like, enjoy your stay at Hawaii. Check out this business where you can have your overnight stay or whatever. It's so weird how like they put the two together. It was like a jarring juxtaposition almost in a way. So moving right along, I get off the tram and I get my bags at the bagging area, and I step out of the airport, and apparently I had some kind of arrangement to get on this tour bus which was going to take me to the hotel. I take my seat, and I'm like kind of close to the front, but not at the very front. I want to ask you something. Do you, the audience, ever take public transportation and you see like the TV screen that is usually on the left side of the bus, and you just look up and you see them perhaps advertising stuff like local businesses or, you know, just general information about the bus line, right? You know what I'm talking about? Well, that's what I saw in my dream. And I was looking up at this TV screen, and it was also, weirdly enough, doing the same exact thing, showing me like at one point an Oswald Mosley speech. Like, what the fuck? And now I need to introduce to you a specific cartoon character that is real but was depicted very differently in my dream. What you're looking at before you is a character called Fred the Monkey. He is an online web cartoon character, and he's very wholesome, although a little silly and a little bit on the slower side. I'll put a link to where you can find more of his cartoons in the description below, but I want to play just a clip as to what this character is like for the most part.
All I'm saying is, I think we should update the welcoming film strip, that's all. Oh, welcome back. Let me introduce the head of our research and development, Space Chicken.
What are you talking about? I don't work here.
We'll iron out the details later. So, SC, what's your team been working on?
I have a team?
That's great. Let's continue the tour.
A lot of people bring up Homestar Runner, but I was watching Fred the Monkey growing up, so that was my weird, cringy childhood thing that I was doing. Anyway, so in my dream, I was looking at the monitor, like I said, and after all of the really disturbing fascist authoritarian shit was playing, I saw an emblem of Fred the Monkey. Except he wasn't called Fred the Monkey in my dream, he was called Philip the Monkey. I don't know why, he just was called Philip the Monkey, and it just stayed like that for a while, like in just pure silence, really. No jingle, no theme song, no animation to kind of segue into the skit that they're about to do. Not even a title card, really. So it was just a silent, non-moving, still image, actually. If anything, I thought it was like an advertisement for a cartoon. Like, oh yeah, here's this cartoon that is very popular here in the island of Hawaii for some reason. But no, right afterwards began the cartoon. And I feel like I should try to recreate this cartoon. Forgive me for the crass humor of it all, but I'm just gonna go ahead and animate it all myself. I will be using Fred the Monkey's image, but just please bear with me. And without further ado, I present to you Philip the Monkey. Oh, shucks. Why can't we just get along around here, huh? Now that I reanimated it, it was kind of funny to watch it all unfold before me, to kind of like realize it for myself in the flesh. But in the dream, I don't understand why I thought that was funny. I was just laughing hysterically in my dream, as if it was the funniest thing in the world. I guess I now understand why it was so funny. I mean, it's stupid as hell. But then I began to wonder, I didn't hear anybody else laughing. No one else thought that was funny. I was the only one in that bus who thought that was funny, or at least I thought that way. So I looked behind me since I was pretty close to the front, and I looked at everyone, and everyone looked at me with a facial expression that was that of shock, horror, and offense. It was as if I had said something that was so culturally insensitive, as if I had made a 9/11 joke an hour after the terror attack took place. It was like that. Not like an irritation. Not like, oh, you laughed at something that is immature or juvenile. No, it was like, you committed a fucking war crime right in front of us. That's how they were looking at me. And I could feel the tension in that room at the pit of my stomach. And I really did not know how to handle the situation. So I turned back around, just kind of sitting quietly. And I looked back up at the screen to hopefully amuse myself in silence some more. Maybe this time covering the fact that I found something on the screen to be funny, only to find that there was someone hanging out on the top of the screen. And it was a baby monkey with crimson glowing red eyes. This particular evil looking monkey was peering down at me, and although the monkey didn't say anything, the monkey in particular was giving off the impression that he was keeping watch, just to ensure that I wasn't gonna do anything that I might regret. If you get the impression, this was a very threatening aura towards me. Nothing came of any interaction between me and the monkey other than just me sitting on the bus and just keeping quiet, keeping to myself, making sure that I don't do anything that I will regret, because, oh my goodness, I don't want to find out. And the monkey just kind of held itself right behind the screen, just peering at me, with his head just kind of peeking over. And it was like I could feel the glow of the crimson red eyes just peering down at me, and how I really felt scared in that moment. I felt like my life was in danger. So after the bus takes off and the monkey is there the entire ride, just watching me, watching down at me, and basically indirectly threatening my life, I eventually get to the hotel and I get off the bus. And it's simple enough. I just get to the front desk, check in, go to my hotel room, open the door with my card key, and I bring in my luggage, and I get into my room. And it's simple enough. It seems like a nice room. I remember it being very green, like the carpet was green, the beds were green, the walls were green. I like the color green. It's a nice color. But I decided that I needed to go to the bathroom, especially since I perhaps went on a very long flight and trip to this hotel room. So I walk to the bathroom and I open the door and I flick the switch. And all of a sudden, I see a version of Philip the Monkey, aka Fred the Monkey IRL, and He's standing on top of the toilet with his feet on the ring of the toilet. And he's just like holding a switchblade in his hand. And he's just like, "You fucking cunt! I'm gonna fucking kill you!" And then just starts charging at me with the knife. And he lunges at me. And before he could stab me, I wake up. Oh my god. A message to JK Ricky, but yeah, you might actually be in part responsible for the de facto worst nightmare that I've ever had. No disrespect intended. In fact, all the respect, because yeah, there was a point in my life where I was watching your cartoon almost obsessively, and that should be more of a compliment than anything else. And I hope that it is obvious to my audience that I don't own Fred the Monkey. I was only using Fred the Monkey as a storytelling device because it was part of a dream, and I really wanted to tell this dream to y'all because it's just one of those dreams that really sticks with you for a very long time. It's a very funny dream indeed too, so take that for what you will. Anyway, if you're looking for some kind of fun flash animation to get into, I guess go check out fretthemonkey.com, and then also I will put a link in the description for you to go buy Neofeud from Silver Spook Games. I really want you to go and spend all of your money on that, especially because that game slaps. Don't worry, y'all, I am in therapy, and although this was the scariest dream I've ever had, it didn't really affect me all that much. It's just one of those conversational pieces, and I'm really glad that I got a chance to make a video telling the story, because it is, for all intents and purposes, a very silly story. Anyway, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, do all the things with the video, comment below, tell me what you thought of my crazy ass dream. Also, my Patreon and Ko-Fi, they need some love right now, because these are some very trying times, and I'm definitely gonna need some help in these very trying times. So anyway, without any further anything to say, thanks for watching, and have a great day.